Are you getting ready to sell your house and you want to make sure you're doing everything right? Here are my top tips that I give my sellers to make sure that they're getting the house ready to make the best impression possible for the buyers, which leads to the most money possible in their pockets at the end of the day. My name is Jacki Tait, lead agent with Team 323 at Realty One Group Mountain Desert, serving Northern Arizona. The first and foremost thing that I will tell you you've got to do is declutter. Listen, there is a difference between how we live in our homes and how we market our homes. When we live in our homes, we have our things out and about. In fact, you can see just in my background, I've got some personal items. But if I were to sell my house tomorrow, I would make sure those things were gone, put away, boxed up. The point is, I want them to come through the house and see it in its best light in such a way that they can see themselves here. They're not buying your history when they move into the house. They're buying their new dream. And so it's really important that you create the slate, the blank slate that is going to help them see themselves there. Declutter and depersonalize. Get rid of your personal items. Get rid of the tchotchkes on the shelf, teapots, Star Wars figurines, movie posters, sports memorabilia, salt shakers. We're not trying to show off your collection. We're trying to get people to buy the house. When you look at the pictures online, if there's too much going on in that 2D photo, well, in that situation, it's going to actually distract the potential buyer from seeing the home in the way that they need to see it just to pique their interest to come inside. It's the same thing with personalization. If you've got a lot of family photos hanging on the wall or things of that nature, you really need to pack those up and put them away now. Let me remind you, you are getting ready to move. You are actually selling this house, so you're gonna have to pack up those items anyway. You might as well pack them up now in order to get yourself the most money possible and find your buyer as fast as possible so that you can move on. Next on the list is paying attention to walls and surfaces. Once you remove your items from the wall, you do need to patch and repair any holes that you left behind and then paint over it. I can't tell you how important it is that your paint looks impeccable. You might think that the paint color you're using is a perfect match, but once it dries, you can kind of see the little patchwork. Trust me when I say it's far better to just paint the whole wall instead of leaving little patchwork behind. Speaking of painting walls, this is going to be the next thing on the list, is correcting any personalization on paint colors. If you have two tones of paint in your home, but they're neutral colors, you're probably going to be okay. However, I cannot tell you how far a good coat of paint will go to just neutralize things. Again, because we want to present a blank slate to the people who are going to purchase the home. Let them come in and dream about what colors they want to paint the walls. Make sure that when you're painting walls, you're using a very relevant color. So far, we've decluttered and depersonalized. We've repaired any holes in the walls and made sure there's no scuff marks on baseboards and things like that. We've repainted when and if necessary. So the next thing on the list is to go ahead and fix some of those loose door handles or loose fixtures that are connected to the wall, maybe a toilet paper holder that every time you grab a piece of toilet paper, the thing pops off the wall. We want to fix all of that stuff. Now, listen, some of that are not going to be necessarily finding those on the first showing, but door handles, they will. So go ahead and fix those door handles. Make sure that everything's nice and tight and not rattly and janky and about to fall off. Also, make sure all exterior locks are in proper working order. This is such a super important point. When people are coming into your front door, if the door handle is sticking and you can't get in, their agent's having a hard time with it, this is not going to create the best first impression. Same thing with those back slider doors. Maybe the track is dirty and you can't get the door open and closed. Make sure all of those types of things are as smooth as possible. It's going to come up anyway as an inspection item. So why not make a really good first impression? Because let me tell you how a buyer thinks. You've lived with that janky door handle for a decade, so you're used to it and you don't care anymore. However, the way that a buyer sees it is they try the door handle, it's not working properly, and they think, isn't it obvious that this isn't working? So if they've neglected this door handle, what else about this house have they neglected? The other thing you may want to do is go ahead and replace some light fixtures. I've recently showed a house where you could tell that everything in the home was done very builder grade level back in 2007. And so nothing seemed relevant. And so in the buyer's mind, as they're going through this property and they're seeing flooring that needs replacing, countertops, cabinets, light fixtures, all the things that need replacing, the money is just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's adding up in their mind. And with every single one of those things, the price that they're willing to pay is going down and down and down because this home was not priced properly to accommodate for all those things. These sellers really wanted top dollar for the home, but yet you had all of these items. Really easy fix are light fixtures. You've got maybe some of those builder grade lights that are sitting in the middle of the ceiling or over the vanity in the bathroom. You don't really have to go all out and upgrade. You just have to make them more relevant. We've talked about a lot of details inside the home. However, let's talk about what's going on outside. Your curb appeal is everything. As a real estate agent, I cannot tell you how many times I have pulled up to a home and my client has simply said, I don't even want to go in. And now I'm like, oh, I feel so bad because the seller is expecting our appointment, especially if it's an occupied home. You're expecting people to come through your house. You're excited. You're thinking maybe this could be your buyer. They pull up and they don't even want to bother to see the inside of the house at this point. So the best way to avoid that happening is to make sure that you've got your proper curb appeal figured out. Now, get it. You're probably saying, yeah, but Jackie, they saw the pictures of the outside of the house online. Why are they acting surprised when they show up? Well, a lot of times it's hard to tell online. And so sometimes you're clicking through pictures and you don't really know what's going on, but then you show up and you can tell, oh, those weren't just shadows on the side of the house. That house actually needs to have an exterior repainted. So by all means, if you've got exterior paint that's really seen better days, go ahead, bite the bullet, pay the money to have your home professionally painted on the exterior now. It doesn't matter how lovely the interior of your home is. If the exterior looks like it's got some severe neglect to it, people just are already going to have an impression that this home might not be worth what you're asking for. So this is one of those things that I would definitely say go ahead and take care of ahead of time. But let's say your paint is fine. Everything's good on the paint, but maybe your landscaping is looking a little or boring, or there's just nothing going on there. Pay some attention to maybe planting a few flowers, maybe even just in pots in the front yard, or whatever the case may be. Just spruce it up a little bit. Make sure you're talking to your real estate agent for what is relevant in your market at the time. So this next thing on the list may be a little sensitive. Please do a smell test on the home. When we live in our homes, we can get completely nose blind to some of the weird, funky smells that might be going on. Usually related to animals or smoking or just not really keeping up on the cleanliness. You have to kind of take a step away from the house, go out for the day, leave the windows shut, and then come back in and make sure you're noticing a smell. Or trust your real estate agent and flat out ask them, do you smell any weird smells that I need to take care of? A lot of people have allergies to animals, and even though they're going to be buying the house and inheriting that and they're going to have to overcome it, if it's really strong, they can't even stay in the house. So if you have a cat, be sure you are cleaning up the cat litter before every showing. If you have a dog, make sure if they're having accidents on the carpet, make sure you're cleaning it up with some good things that actually kill the enzymes of that to make sure it doesn't smell like that. But people will then put these like Glade plugins in the wall and try and overcome the smell that way. Do not do that. Those things are awful. Okay, and a lot of people actually, I mean, I talked about allergies to animals. A lot of people have allergies to those fake perfumey smells. By far, the first impression that a buyer has when they walk in and smell all those Glade smell-ins is, what are they trying to hide? They don't think, oh wow, this smells like mountain fresh air. No, it does not. It smells like fake air, and the buyers automatically want to know what you're hiding. If you need to make your house smell a little fresher, if the season allows for it, leave the windows open, just let some fresh air come through. A couple of other things that you could do is use essential oils. Essential oils are a natural smell, not a fake manufactured smell. Turn on a diffuser with some lovely essential oils. Don't let it smell fake and don't let it smell gross. Those are the two important things. Finally, my last tip for you, please clean your home. Now listen, I highly recommend that you have professional cleaners come through your home. We all think that we know what our house looks like clean. My version of clean might not match your version of clean, might not match your spouse's version of clean, so who knows? Talked about smells and how you can get nose blind in your own home. You can also get visually blind to some of the things that just need attention where cleaning is concerned. You've had somebody come through and do a professional clean and everything looks and smells lovely when they're done. Now it's your job to keep that up. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about what to do immediately before a showing happens. So stay tuned for that, where I've got some extra tips and tricks for you on that level. But this video really is just top tips that I can give you to help your home sell at the best price possible. Now listen, I get it. Life gets in the way and sometimes you don't have time to do all the things on this list. That's okay. Just know that if you don't show your house in all the best ways possible, you'll just have to compensate for that in price. Top dollar for your home is going to be determined by what the market will bear when you decide to sell. That's going to look different than your neighbors. It's going to look different than people across town. So please make sure that you are working with a professional real estate agent in your marketplace. If you're in Northern Arizona, we are happy to help. So make sure you fill out the contact form below and we will be in touch and help you determine what that top dollar looks like. But if you're in any other marketplace, you can still fill out the contact form below. If I have somebody in your market, I'm happy to connect you with the people that we would recommend. Otherwise, just make sure you're doing your research to find a great agent in your area. This is a part of our home seller series, and if you want to stay connected with that whole series, you can click the link below or here or wherever it shows up.